This video is not for everyone. It's for men who are tired of doing everything right and still getting ghosted after the first date. Because the advice you've been following is quietly destroying your chances. Friends, this video is for smart people. I want to share principles that can dramatically increase your effectiveness on dates with any woman. And no, this is not another empty internet motivation speech. We can literally change your life script starting today. Let's talk about the biggest lie around first dates. If you ask Google or YouTube how to behave on a first date, second date, third date, or even the 10th, you'll get the same recycled nonsense. Be yourself. Relax. Be nice. Don't say this. Don't do that. No. Thanks. We don't need that. I wish a video like this existed when I was younger. About 13 years ago, I had zero experience with women. I didn't understand where attraction even came from. And I had a date scheduled with one of the most popular and brightest girls in my school. Of course, I consumed all the internet advice. I was obsessed with increasing my chances. I spent around 8 hours over several days preparing. I wrote down questions in my notes. Prepared stories from my life. Thought through answers she might ask. Chose a place I already knew well so I'd feel more confident. And you know what? It helped. The first meeting went well. Not perfectly, but well. But then, on the next date, or the one after, she started pulling away. Eventually, it ended in a quiet fade out. Strange, right? Here's the truth no one tells you. When someone sells you templates that supposedly work in 90% of cases, they might work in 10. And that's the most dangerous part. Because when you almost succeed, your emotional involvement increases. Your stress increases. The result feels close. And stress kills everything. The main enemy of a man on a date is stress. Cortisol. And it's not just about saying something stupid or looking insecure. There's something deeper happening. Anytime two people communicate, in person or even on the phone, there is an exchange of emotional states. You absorb each other's inner condition. You've felt this with friends. One person calms you down. Another makes you laugh. Another drains you completely. Dates work the same way. If you are tense, she feels it. No luxury restaurant, no expensive place, no fancy gestures can compensate for that. All of it is irrelevant. For a woman to feel comfortable, safe, and open, she must feel like she's with someone familiar. Almost like you've known each other for years. That level of comfort is impossible when you're stressed. Completely impossible. Think about this. There were women you didn't plan anything with. You showed up unprepared. Dressed badly. Didn't know what to say. Were quiet. Just existed. And somehow, they were drawn to you. But with the women you really wanted, everything was heavy, difficult, forced. Why? What do women do to make men chase them endlessly? Nothing. They don't force anything. They don't stress. Why? Because throughout their lives, they receive constant positive reinforcement. Ask almost any woman how many times men have rejected her. Then compare that to how many times men get rejected per day. That's the difference. She isn't afraid. So you become the anxious one. And whoever is less stressed controls the emotional frame. Now let's talk about what usually happens next. You went on a date. Everything looked fine. She smiled. She laughed. No conflict. No awkward ending. And then, she doesn't text. She disappears. And you're confused because visually nothing went wrong. Here's what actually happened. She didn't react to how you looked. She didn't react to what you said. She reacted to your internal state. To how you felt inside during the date. Men are divided into two types. The first type continues to behave gallantly. Flowers. Compliments. Attention. Care. There are millions of men like this. It doesn't hook her emotionally at all. The second type understands that this path is useless. But they lack one thing. Practice. And not practice in front of a beautiful woman. Because the moment a beautiful woman appears, the eyebrows tense up. The posture changes. You try to take up more space. You try to look confident. But it's uncomfortable. And she feels that discomfort immediately. At this exact moment, when a man is lost and doesn't know what to do, he finds advice online. Just work on yourself. Self-development. And women will come on their own. This is one of the biggest lies you will ever hear. And here's why. If you are a poor student, only a small percentage of women are realistically available to you. Let's say 5%. The other 95 are not. And you don't even look at those 5. If you did, you wouldn't be here watching this video. You want the ones that don't give you the feeling you already have access. Now here's the flip side. I work with men who are extremely developed. Financially secure. Educated. Languages. Apartments in different countries. And you think they don't have problems with women? You really think that? Believe me, their situations are often even more painful and complex. The matrix is the same. Only inverted. A developed man might have access to 90% of women. But he doesn't want them. He wants the remaining 10. The ones that trigger stress. The same stress. The same emotional trap. The suffering is identical. That's why judging life rules based on your surroundings is dangerous. You might think successful people have it easy. They don't. Look at celebrities. Wealth. Fame. Status. And still constant emotional disasters. This has nothing to do with self-development level. So why do we fall in love with the wrong people? There is a direct correlation. The more a woman makes you stressed, the stronger the attraction feels. The more she triggers fear of loss, the more you love her. This is reinforced by past trauma. For many men, it starts in adolescence. You held hands with a girl. It felt like a relationship. Then one day she became cold. Maybe she left. Maybe she said she didn't feel the same anymore. And instead of stepping back, you leaned forward. You tried harder. That pattern got imprinted. Now healthy, calm relationships feel boring. Tasteless. Flat. You need tension. You need fire. You need emotional instability. And that's how the loop continues. At this point, something important must be broken. The false belief that there are ordinary women you don't need to try for, and top-tier women you must earn through stress, effort, and suffering. This belief is nonsense. A woman who is not oversaturated with attention can actually appreciate effort. A woman who receives endless attention cannot be impressed by it. She doesn't want gifts. She wants emotional security. And here's the key detail. When a woman feels a little nervous around you, slightly uncertain, with warm tension, that's not a bad sign. That's how attraction forms. But this stress must come from her, not from you. You don't create it by talking about achievements. Not by dominant postures. Not by expensive presents. You create it by being internally calm. So calm that she starts wondering, does he even like me? That doubt pulls her in. That's the secret. And I remember the moment my life changed. I was around 20 or 21. A switch flipped. I stopped caring whether she texted or not. I genuinely didn't think about it. And everything changed. In the next part, I'll explain the exact practice that rewires this pattern. Why one meeting only? Why repetition matters? And why without this, a man has only 3 outcomes. Being alone. Being with a woman he doesn't truly want. Or becoming an emotional donor in a toxic relationship. Let me explain the practice that actually changes everything. Without it, nothing you heard before will stick. You will understand it intellectually, agree with it, and still repeat the same behavior. Because this problem is not solved by thinking. It's solved by rewiring patterns. The practice is simple in structure, but uncomfortable in execution. For 30 days, you meet women you are genuinely attracted to. 1 meeting only. No second dates. No follow-ups. Even if she suggests it, you politely decline. This is not about playing games. This is about breaking your internal dependency. Why does this work? Because your nervous system learns a new rule. Attraction does not equal danger. Interest does not equal loss. You stop attaching outcome to a single woman. Stress drops. Control returns. Most men are trapped in one of 3 outcomes if they don't break this pattern. Outcome number 1, being alone. Completely. Outcome number 2, being with a woman who doesn't truly attract you, while you keep looking at others. That's emotional limbo. Outcome number 3, becoming a donor. A man with ambition, intelligence, potential, slowly drained by a manipulative woman who senses his dependency. I see these situations constantly. And they are all symptoms of the same matrix. When I stepped outside this matrix, everything changed. The concept of top-tier women disappeared. I stopped seeing categories. I started seeing people. Beauty lost its hypnotic power. You get used to it. There is nothing exclusive about it. What matters is character. Interaction. How you feel next to the person. A man who stays inside the matrix will sacrifice his life just to stay close to an object of desire. Even when it destroys him. That's the real danger. Here's the final point I want you to understand. Calm is power. Not indifference. Not arrogance. Calm. When you are internally stable, you become the emotional anchor. She feels it. She leans into it. And the dynamic flips naturally, without effort. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. If this resonated with you, don't rush. Let it sit. Watch your reactions. Watch where you feel tension. That's where the work is. That's it.